there, welcome and welcome back to the Whole Bucket and today's Friday freebie feature. I am going back to a digital kit provider that I just love on Etsy. It's called Ink and Page, and it's run by a lady named Debbie. And today's kit, I should show you that first, is this, and it's big. This is a freebie, guys. Free. As long as you can print it, of course, but freebie nonetheless. I would recommend doing this on cardstock or heavier paper if you can, but I just printed this one on plain old paper. You could also, if you intend to use these as writing spaces, do something on the back if you want. A faded image or some sort. But there is a page. Here is a page. Here is some pockets and a tag. And then there are 3 sheets of patterned paper. And an envelope or a folio form. I have 2 of those printed by accident. And it also comes with instructions on how to make this. I don't know that I followed the instructions exactly, so mine might be a little different, but I have all the stuff tucked in here. You have options, right? So here is the folio made. I have lined it with some of the papers. And then I just cut out all the different little pieces and put them in the pockets. And they're sticking together. Goodness sakes, man. I have not turned these into tags yet. Meaning that they're not backed and they're just on light paper. But look at all the options for filling and decorating this you have. Just piles of stuff. Whoops, and I'm knocking it everywhere. So this is what it makes if you follow the instructions. And then you have all these options for filling and decorating. Today, I'm going to turn it into something different because I always like to show options for these Friday freebies. Or these freebies, I should say. Let me see. What am I trying to do? I have a 12 by 12 piece of paper, and I am just going to be taking 1 inch off of one side, and I'm going to save that, of course, and I'm going to take 2 inches off another side. So now I have a sheet that is, what, 10 by 11. This is just a slightly darker on the other side. Oh, I'm glad I looked because I want this to be the bottom, I think. And I think I want this to be the inside. So I'm going to make a folder out of this. The first thing I'm going to do is use my scoreboard to do a 1/2 inch score all the way around. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Then 1/2 of 11 is 10.5. So, oh my goodness, look at my scoreboard. It's just falling apart. Poor thing. So I hate this scoreboard for, there's one thing I hate about it. The scoreboard in general is lovely and works fabulously, but except for this middle part right here. So it looks like I'm going to have to get a new one, and I'm going to get a solid board one if I do. But this is what I don't like, is this middle section right here kind of bends when you use it because it folds, it has a fold there, and it's not that big a deal really, but I'm just telling you that it has a bit of a sag in the middle. These lines right here are typically hard to use. So if that's a concern for you and you want a scoreboard, get one of those solid board ones. What I'm going to do is find the center of my folder, and I'm just going to move 1/8 inch to this side and do this carefully because, like I said, this thing bends, and then go back to the middle and go 1/8 the other side of it. I'm creating a spine because we're going to make a little baby journal today out of those parts, and this is going to be the journal cover. Is that all I need? No, I need one more score, and let me try to remember where. I had it in my head just a minute ago. Yeah, I think I'll just do that. So I'm going to go ahead and do it at 3 inches. And we'll see what we get. I don't remember if this is what I wanted, but whatever. We'll find out. We'll find out together. All right, let's put that away. And we'll save our bone folder because some of this stuff will have to be burnished a bit. But right now, I need a scissor I can't find. Where is it? Okay, I'll just use a big one. So I'm going to do some pretty normal stuff, right? I'm going to cut off these corners at angles because that's going to get rid of bulk and extra bits we just don't need crowding our book here. I am going to do a super skinny cut up here and right here, and then on the other side as well, like such a skinny bit. Yikes. And you can see I did this one wrong. It's got to go down to the fold, not into the fold if you can help it, right? But at least to it. And same at the bottom, except I think that's not right. Okay, I'm just gonna cut straight up the crease to the bottom and straight up the score line, actually, not crease. Crease is what you put in your pants with an iron. I think I'm just going to do that for right now because I can't really remember how I want to do this particular spot right here. Okay, so now I'm going to, oh, you know what? I'm going to do the same right here. I'm going to do a little divot right there and right there and there and there. All right, now let's get back to the folding. So now I'm just going to go ahead and burnish all those score marks. So right there and right here, right here, and here, and then the top, here and here. You can fold that down, that little speck. Then open it all back up. We got nice burnished folds, and do the same thing on the vertical folds. That one and this one. And this one and this one. Oh, the hard two. They're not hard. It's just that they're so close together, sometimes they can be finicky, but look how nice that folded. Hopefully the other side will as well. Okay, it's just being a little difficult. It wants to fold on the one we just burnished rather than the new one. All right, there we go. We now have what will turn into a book cover. It's also a folder. I'm sure you have already noticed that. The very next thing I'm going to do, though, is figure out how I want to cut these little folder bits right here. Because since I'm turning this folder into a book cover, I am going to put this ribbon on both sides of the spine just to give it a little strength. So I think the first thing I'll do is glue this down. Well, I mean, maybe I'll glue it. Okay. There we go. And glue this one down. Okay. I didn't really think of this, but this should be slightly thinner than the folds because it might cause trouble now. Let's check. Yeah, it's going to cause trouble now. So, did you see how it moved? Like when I when I closed the book, right? So I'm going to turn this into a very long V. Just by cutting a little tiny sliver out. There we go. I don't even know if that's worth the hassle, because how much strength is that really going to add? But, you know, every little bit helps. And this one isn't cut enough, so it's not staying centered. There we go. All better. Let's bring the camera in a little closer now, though. Because we're going to be getting considerably smaller in just a minute here. So I think what I'm going to do for the bottom of this is cut in just a little tiny bit on both sides. I'm not measuring. If you care about getting precise, you would want to measure this. But from that little cut spot right there and an angle this way, I'm going to angle this pocket. And I'm not going to worry about measuring because I'm just going to do the same trick you would do with a tag. And I'm going to flip it over, line it up, and copy the cut. That's probably not an exact match, but man, that's close enough. That is close enough for this. Now, I think I'm going to have to do a little more gluing before I continue. Yep. So I'm going to glue these two pieces down right here. And then we're going to put the ribbon on. So let's get that glued down. And get this glued down. Oops. And now let's get the ribbon on. I think I'm going to use glue stick for this because I don't have a decent glue spreader right now. And unless you spread out liquid glue, it just makes ugly lines in your ribbons. I suppose you could play up the lines and make them not so ugly, right? You could make them a feature rather than a flaw, just like we do with a lot of things, but I apparently don't have the patience for that today. Or the artistic inclination. All right, let's flip this whole thing over and bring it down the other side. Hopefully I cut the bottom so that it's going to be friendly to the ribbon. Not exactly. It's not perfect, but it's pretty darn good. I missed a spot of glue right there. All right, looks good. Well, let's do one line of liquid glue. If this looks too atrocious, we might have to figure out a way to cover that up. But right now, we'll just leave it. Okie dokie. Time to make the rest of this folder. Okay, I'm going to do just that. Let's go ahead and glue this flap down. That's actually not how I want it, is it? I've changed my mind already. That'll make it extra sturdy. So here's the thing I'm debating. Do I want to do this first or last? And I've decided I want it last because I think it'll give it a more finished look. So what I need to do is glue those two down, and you could cut this out if you don't want the bulk, but I'm thinking again that it's going to add strength rather than just bulk. There we go. That's what I want to do. Now, same thing on the other side. Glue these little flaps down or cut them off, whichever you are choosing to do. Go ahead and glue this. Yeah, let's leave it like that. There's a lot of room in those pockets now. Get that to glue down. Come here, you. All right, let's get that glue to stick. You can do it. It's not a very quick grab glue. I like that though. It gives me time. I'd rather sit here and, give it a second to catch than have it catch and then I can't move stuff. So I think that my leaving those little flaps in there was a bad choice. It's causing some buckling. I'm just going to play with the burnishing a little bit to try to get nice creases. Make sure the glue is catching everywhere. And I think it'll end up fine. But I would recommend taking that extra bulk out of in here. There we go. All right. Let's get that fold right there in the ribbon and right there in the ribbon. And look at that. We now have a journal cover. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. So what are we going to do now? We're going to use this stuff right here, and what? I have some pages already cut out, ready to go. Here they are. Oh, you know what? I almost did this wrong. This is all the stuff from the folio, right? I should put this back in here. I'm going to just tuck it in because I was almost going to use that. That would not be good. I'd have an empty folio. Okay, here's what we're going to use to fill up this little journal right here. And I am going to add a piece of tea-dyed paper. Let's add this one right here. Sorry, needed a beverage. And we're going to create the pages of the journal out of this stuff right here. Do I care what order they go in? I kind of do. So I think I want it like this, 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 this. And we don't need the whole things to get a signature. So let's measure. This is not fancy measuring, right? We're just gonna measure. With an estimating, sort of. So, I don't know what I'm trying to say. You know, some days are like that. But, here, so I'm just going to say I want about this much space on the top. I'll do about the same space on the bottom. So there's going to be the height of the signature, and we want it inset from each side a little bit. So about right there will be the cut off the side. Don't throw away these pieces because you never know what you can use as you keep going. There we go. All of them at once. I can do this. And this one. There we go. Let's see how it turned out. Fold this in half. We may have a signature. Let's find out. Okay. My folding skills seem to be in question today. There we go. Okay, a little too wide. I got a little too generous on the side here. So let's take, oh my goodness, my desk is way too full of projects. Okay, let's not mess this one up. Let's just move it in one stroke. Goodness. Oh my gosh. Let's see if we can do this whole pack at once. I'm going to take off more than I need to because, wow, this is really lopsided. Okay, so why am I cutting off more than I need to? Because I want to end up with strips that are usable. There we go. Sorry about the noise and the wobble. Oh, wow. I'm sorry, I didn't realize my camera was so wobbly. There. There. Okay. Back in screen. Well, let's see how we're doing. much better. Now this is going to be way inset. That is not originally what I wanted, but I don't mind it either. Way inset is not a bad thing. And we're going to go ahead and sew this in right away. I need an awl, or in our industry, a pokey tool. I will need a needle, and there's one right here. And I will need some thread. Oh, let's use this one. There we go. This might be a tad tricky because I do want to get it somewhat centered on this spine, but I don't know. This is not the smartest way to do this either. Today is try stuff and see what happens day. So, I'm gonna put this centered top to bottom, and then, or at least close, and then I will, gosh darn it, this is not behaving. Okay, again, centered top to bottom, and then find the center of the spine or close. And I think I need to go just a tiny bit that way. Nope, that was too much. That's good enough right there. Ow! Don't poke your fingers. That's not a good idea. Okay, I'm going to let that sit there for a second while I get my thread ready. 1, 2, 3 times the length. Chop it off. And where did I put the needle? Do you guys see the needle? Oh, it's under there. Okay. This is just a gigantic needle too. Take that out and get the thread through. Okay, so now we have that center decided. I'm going to do the same thing for the top and bottom holes now. And actually, we're going to come in through the bottom next. So I will hold this in place, poke through the paper where I want the next hole to be, and I go fairly close to the bottom. And then again, make sure everybody is where they are supposed to be, lined up, and poke a hole in the center of the spine. But I can't see what I'm doing. There we go. Right there. I think I missed the center. I think that's going to have to be good enough because I've already done it. Oh, it's not so bad, actually. That's not so bad. I have moved the signature though. There we go. All right. So we have our first 2. And we do the same thing for the top. I want it pretty much way up here. I'm going to poke it through the signature first. Make sure everybody's all lined up. And then poke the hole through the center of the spine bit. There we go. Oops. Well, I mean, as long as you don't tangle up all your papers. There we go. Now come back through the center hole again. Being careful not to pierce the previous threads. Because if you do, you can't tighten up your signature properly. A blunt needle is the best way to make sure that you have a better chance of not piercing the thread. The needle I have is fairly blunt, but it's also extremely fat, and it likes to it's almost too fat. It likes to catch onto things. So tighten up your signature. Sometimes I tighten too much and I start cutting my paper. Don't do that. That does not help you. I'm going to leave those for now because who knows, I might want to do something with it. I don't know. I don't know. I might. So I'm going to leave those. There we go. We now have a small folder, journal, and a signature sewn in. Let's do the cover. So I was thinking that this is pretty easy. So this is the cover for the folio, but look at how nice of a cover it makes, just like that, right? For this little journal too. So I'm just going to cut these apart. And we'll cut the flap off as well. I can't see this line. Okay, that looks about right. That was not right. Look at that. Missed it by a hair. Okay. Better. So I think I'm just going to do that. I don't know if you've noticed, but we need rounded corners. It's true. And I think I'll do the big fat one. And I think we need some distressing on the edges. No. No. Yes. Goodness sakes, can't make up my mind. So I'm going to pull out my brown. The reason I decided yes is that I am seeing some white core in the folder sticking out. So if I just go over, whoops, well, if I, start inking myself too. But if I just go over the edges, I can hide that white core. And I don't like white core showing. This ink though, this is VersaFine Claire, right? Love, love, love it. As many people already do, but if you didn't know, this is a wonderful permanent ink for stamping and such. Nice clear images. Okay, I think that's everything on there. But it has a decently long dry time, so I'm going to set that aside. I'll do the same on here. So that they match. And let's start looking at some other bits while those two dry. So I think this should go on the back. So let's make it match in that regard and get it drying. Okay, I'm just going to let that dry. We can throw these itty bitty bits away and get them out of our hair. I think it should have another bit of ribbon in here somewhere. I'm not sure where, but I'm sure we will find a place. I don't think we need our pokey tools anymore. I don't think we need the bone folder anymore. But we do need to create. So we got a giant pocket here. And if I'm going to let the folder dry, or let the journal dry, I still need to have it in range, don't I? So, whoops. So we've already got a pocket right here. Oops, because we made it a folder, right? So do we even need these big pockets in here? Well, maybe. I mean, a double pocket is kind of a cool thing. But maybe we put it in here somewhere. Ooh, that would be cool, wouldn't it? Right there. Oh, I like it there. That might be the ticket. In any case, take a look at where you might want the bigger pieces to go, because they are quite large. And I'm making a small little journal. But I still want it to be pretty fancy, you know? I like fancy. So, let's make these folds. There is our pocket. Since we're doing edging, oh my goodness, we're going to do it on everything. Heaven forbid we should do something different. Don't do anything different. Okay, there's that. Let that one dry. There's another one. Let's get that one out. Get it folded. Let it dry. This part doesn't really need scoring. If you wanted to, and you have a scoreboard or a small, you know, a scoreboard or a ruler and anything to score with, you could certainly score these lines. But it's not that hard to line up. Again with the edging, just a skinny edge. Okay. What else have we got in here? We've got a lovely tag. It's only got one corner off because it matches the pockets, right? But I want both off to make an actual tag. I'm just gonna curve this over and line it up and chop it. Just like that. There should be, there might be, I thought there was another one like that. There is. There we go. Let's do this one as well. Two tags. Another tag. A bookmarky kind of tag. Another bookmarky kind of tag. A card. Oh my goodness, look at all the things. Let's get these two pockets ready as well. Okay, there we go. And get the folding done on this one. Okay, just like that. Doot, 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 doot. Okay, and this one. And I think, gosh, these are so pretty. I think we're just going to back all this stuff on tea-dyed paper because it's such an easy fix for strengthening these papers and creating nice looking journaling spaces. I am actually going to pause. I'm going to glue this on. I was going to try to see if we could get the whole thing done in my 1 hour window. And so I could show you how you can do it super fast and do a 1 hour window, but I'm gonna cheat just a tiny bit. I'll be right back. Okay, just a quick stop in. Here is what I did. I glued up this whole page and I put all of the pieces on here that I know for sure, or at least, you know, pretty sure that I want journaling space on the back of. So just tea-dyed paper, glue stick, slap everything down. Okay, all the tags are cut out. They are all edged and they are sitting right there in a pile drying. So let's get back to our cover and get this in place. This look at that, I printed this on the opposite side thinking it was going to still be a folder. I didn't know it was going to be a book cover. Surprise! I thought I'd just make some other kind of folder, or a folder that would get tucked into a journal and make the other pieces separate still, but I decided to make a whole mini journal. And let's make sure this is upright. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. I think. Let's make sure this is upright and somewhat centered and level. There we go. Ta-da! Flip. And the other bit. Look how pretty the back is. Goodness sakes. Okay. I got a lot of glue on my desk. I'm going to have to get that up. Okay, wait. Yep. Same thing. Mostly straight, mostly centered. And call it good. And let's get this glue. Let's get the glue off, or we're going to end up with a journal stuck to my desk. That would not be good. All right, I'm going to throw that away. There we go. All set. Let's figure out where these pockets are going to go and get those in place. So to me, the little pockets like are screaming to go right there. On the front and the back. But I don't like being quite so obvious, but yeah, I might have to, because that's a pretty good spot. And then I like the other pocket here. So I liked this one here, so the opposite should go on the opposite, right? This is going to be a very very symmetrical journal apparently, but I'm just going to commit to this because I hope it stays that I'm able to keep doing this, because it's not. I usually fight against this. This is my natural sort of inkling, would be to go symmetrical all the way through a journal, and I don't do it. And I don't do it on purpose, because I like to push my own limits, and because not everything has to be symmetrical. So I never do it, even though I wish I would. I don't know. Bit rebellious, this girl. In any case, I think it would be kind of fun to make it completely symmetrical. We'll see. What do they call it when a name or a word does that? Is that a palindrome? When it's the same forward and backward? in. Let's do the little ones. Hi, little guy. Let's do that. Line it up with the bottom bit. Line it up with the folds and such. Alright, it's not going to be symmetrical enough for my liking because look at this. The space right there at that corner is not the same as the space right there at that corner. Do you ever get that ridiculous about measurements and stuff? I know I do all the time. Okay, so let's assume that these are dry enough and figure out where these are going to go. So the glue is not dry enough. Come on. I think one tag will go here, obviously. And the other tag will go here. And then what else have we got? We have a very tiny tag, but really tall. Okay. And a key and a card. And a bookmark. And a window. Whoopsie. Okay, now, obviously this is already not following my new symmetric rule. And I think these are too big for right here. I don't like the look of that. So we're going to tuck something else in the mini pockets. We're going to find a home for those. And we have this stuff to play with. Oops, oops, oops. To get some decorating and some maybe more tuck spots for these little cards and maybe stuff to tuck in there. Do we maybe tuck round ones in there? Oh, that's kind of neat. I have an idea. What if we accordion fold the same size of this circle and then just cut off the top and bottom and turn it into a little tiny book. A circle accordion notepad. Can we do that? I think we can. So it looks like right there. And look, I've glued my idea to my desk. See? I think it's going to have to be inset from the edge a tiny bit or it's going to just break, right? So I'm going to have to move this way a hair. Hopefully that was small enough. Yep, I think that'll do. All right, let's try this. We're going to accordion fold. Accordion folds are hard to get precise. Well, they are for me anyway. I don't know if you have the same problem, but they always end up slightly off size-wise or slightly off centered-wise, or they just end up wonky for me. I think we can get one more. Well, just barely. Just barely. Let's see. Okay. Okay, now we're going to take this and edge it, because, you know, as one does. And then we're going to glue it to this front page. And then we're going to cut and hope it all holds together. There's reason to believe it will, and there's reason to believe it really might not. Okay, ready? Get it as straight as possible. It does not need to be centered. And it's not inset from the sides enough. So I'm going to have to be stupid amounts of careful in the cutting, or this is a waste of time. So I think I'll just start right here. That way I can't get it wrong. And I'll see if I can trim it more accurately. Or somehow conceal the edges, right? I could maybe, here, I know, wait. Okay, let's see what we ended up with. As soon as I get the, look at that. Ow, don't cut me. Look at that. I think I will just edge the edges. I have an idea of maybe making this a book instead of an accordion, but then it would only be this and that. And then I could put a ribbon right over the edge here and around and a little bit over the edge here. And it would protect these fold parts. But I think for now I'm going to leave it just the way it is because I kind of like it. So if we tuck that in right there, right? Looks good. Now, do we do the same thing for this one? Because I don't have another piece of tea-dyed paper that's like all perfect, but we could use this. Yeah, let's do that. Oh, silly girl, you gotta measure. So where does this need to be folded? Right about here, but in a tiny bit. Right about there. And before I go much further, let's see if that's correct. It is correct enough. Let go of me. My hands are so full of glue. It's ridiculous. Okay. Accordion folding, maybe you get better at it if you practice. So maybe this is just me trying to get really good at accordion folding. we go. All right. This one I think I am going to turn into a little book because I don't like the white and I'm not going to take the time to tea dye. So yeah, let's just glue this whole thing. We're going to glue this whole strip. And get it shut. Whoops. Bad fold. Bad fold. Okay. Just a blink of a pause so my husband could let me know that he was going to get his hair cut. Which is hilarious to me because he only has like 3 hairs left. And it makes me giggle every time. All right. I am cutting the circle and I didn't want to do that. Yikes. Let go. Oh, so gluey. I am so gluey. All right. There we go. We got ourselves a little tiny book for the back end. And this one I am going to do that little ribbon bit. So just take a slice of this. Whoops. Stellar scissors. Stellar. I think I might fold it in half. I'm going to fold it in half and then I'm going to put the straight edge on the back. And I'm going to try the liquid glue. Do. I suppose I better be careful or I'm going to end up gluing the book shut and then it won't be much of a booklet. And I did that on purpose right there with that big chunk because I want to trim it and fray it a bit. But it's definitely going to need some dry time before that can happen. So let's open up the book so that it dries properly and to set that aside. All right, so we have just a couple minutes left of stream of consciousness time. Let's take a look at the book and see what we could do. One thing we could do is some edging on these completely white pages. So let's just get out the vintage photo and the biggest brush and just do some modeling, right? I think my ink pad is drying up. Whoa. little more in the front. Usually, if you want to do this coloring or stenciling or anything, stamping on pages, you want to do that before you sew in your signature. I'm breaking all kinds of rules today, but they are not hard and fast rules. They're rules of thumb. And this just shows you that even if your book is already together, you can still get stuff done. So yeah, we just threw some color on those pages just to make them look a little mottled and match the rest of the journal. And time is pretty much up, but we have pieces. Let's at least get these two little tags in there somewhere. Because, let's see, wait a minute. Maybe I should put it back on that one and this one and put those in there. And maybe the little ones can just tuck in here. So then that would be layered like that, and the back would be layered like this. And then once this is dried and has its little fringe, that would tuck in there. What do you think? I do believe we're done. I do believe we're done. We created a little journal. It's got, you know, some touches I gotta do. I gotta wait for that one little booklet to dry. I gotta back a couple of the pieces that I hadn't backed already that I intended to. I might put some edging on these pages or round the edges of the corners of these pages to match the cover of the book. So just some little detail stuff, but in an hour's time, minus one gluing and trimming that I paused for, we put all the pieces together and have a mini journal. Today's Friday freebie from Debbie at Ink and Page Journals. I will have all of the links below, and if you want to see more Friday freebies, I will also link the playlist. Please like, subscribe, comment, ask questions, and stay tuned for next Friday's Friday freebie feature. Thank you.